Hi, I'm Papa.
And I'm Gaga.
Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the Mabie Island channel, and turn on bell notifications. Make sure to watch until the end, and please don't skip the ads.
Follow us at Mabie Island on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Let us know what country or province or state you're watching from.
And we'd like to shout out Brazil and France and Belgium, who have recently made comments.
And became subscribers.
Yes.
Okay, so today we're doing things a little bit different. We're gonna be breaking down all of the lyrics to Forever Winter from Red Taylor's version. You're not gonna be reacting to it, but you will be going through all of the lyrics to break them all down. Are you ready?
Sounds
Yes.
good.
Hey guys, I wanted to give a quick disclaimer / trigger warning. This video and this song talk about depression, suicide, drugs, alcohol, things like that. So if that makes you uncomfortable, please do not watch the video. But if you want to see a huge breakdown of the lyrics from Forever Winter, please keep watching. I hope you enjoy.
Well, Islanders, we have heard the song. As touching as it is, this is a song about teen suicide. We're not experts, but between the two of us, we have over 50 years of human behavioral problems. I was in law enforcement, and she was a pediatric nurse. Gaga, you ready to start with the lyrics?
I'm ready.
He says he doesn't believe anything much he hears these days. He says, why fall in love just so you can watch it go away? He spends most of his nights wishing it was how it used to be. He spends most of his flights getting pulled down by gravity.
I think what she's saying there is that nothing rings true to him at this point. He's living with doubts and is just overwhelmed by his own existence.
Gaga, is it your understanding this is a song she wrote about perhaps a teenage friend that she knew well?
That was my understanding, a friend from high school. He, at this point, is not looking forward to living, but he's kind of living in the past. I was really impressed with her lyric about he spends most of his flights getting pulled down by gravity. And that just reminded me of a bird with a wounded wing who,
Well, that's a good
when they
analogy.
try to lift off, they just can't quite get off, and it really paints a picture of depression.
Well, I agree. In the second line, he says, why fall in love just so you can watch it go away? Do you get the feeling maybe he was in love with somebody and they broke his heart, or it didn't end well?
Well, I guess that's possible, but we will never know for sure.
What he was thinking.
A lot of times there's an occurrence that causes the beginning of depression, and if it's not dealt with properly, then it's going to kind of snowball and become worse.
And I noticed that the third line, he says, spends most of his nights wishing it was how it used to be. So perhaps one time he was not depressed?
Well, I
Is
get
that, can we
yes.
infer that from that?
Yes. She talks about his laughter being like a symphony, so there was a
Right.
time when he was happy.
Let's go to the next lines then. I called just to check in on him. He's up at 3 a.m. pacing. He says, it's not just a phase I'm in. My voice comes out begging. Taylor's voice comes out begging to him.
Well, a lot of times when someone is in turmoil, they cannot sleep.
Okay.
They just can't get to sleep. They've got too many things running through their mind, and most of the time their thoughts are not positive.
I was wondering, does this being up at 3 a.m. and saying it's not a phase I'm in, is this approaching what we would call clinical depression?
Yes, I would say so. I think she tries at this point to lift his spirits, but was probably unsuccessful.
For you Islanders, I want to just give you a brief definition of clinical depression. It's a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood, loss of interest in activities, and can make a significant impairment in your daily life. And it sounds like that's about where he is. And then the next lines, all this time I didn't know you were breaking down. I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. Too young to know it gets better. I'd be summer for you forever, forever winter if you go.
So we get the actual name of the song, Forever Winter, and that's where she is comparing how she would be summer sun for him.
Right.
If she could be.
If she could be.
Yes, it would be for her like forever winter if he were to go. I think she fails to understand at that point how seriously depressed he is, but she is starting to fear that he may take his own life.
Well, she says, all this time I didn't know you were breaking down. Well, she obviously knew something was wrong because she
was
called
checking on him.
She called him
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
She knew something was off.
Right.
It's a complicated thing because it's hard to know how to help someone once they're clinically depressed.
I would like to comment about the line, too young to know it gets better. There are many young people who have depressive thoughts and sometimes even think about taking their own life. And years later, if they get help or if a situation improves, they look back and they think, what was I thinking? So it does get better, young people. It does get better.
In psychology, that's called a suicidal ideation. You think, what does that word ideation mean? If you look at it, it's idea. So it's your thoughts. You have suicidal thoughts. Doesn't mean you're going to commit suicide, but you're having those thoughts.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily something people will act on, and hopefully they won't.
Islanders, I said right up front, there's an alarming rise in teen suicide. A couple of the reasons for that, one of them is the pandemic. Unfortunately, another one is social media.
Probably during the pandemic, they were not able to interact normally with their friends, have their social contacts. For some people, it's very important. To have those friends.
It's important for all of us.
It is.
It's important for all of us. So she goes on and then says, he seems fine most of the time, forcing smiles and never minds. His laugh is a symphony. When the lights go out, it's hard to breathe. I pull at every thread trying to solve the puzzles in his head. Live my life scared to death he'll decide to leave instead.
I think this is her remembering and grasping at his positivity. Like I said before, his laugh is a symphony, and that's the guy she remembers, and that's the guy she's looking for, but she's not seeing him with these mood swings that he's having. I think this is a very interesting. I pull at every thread trying to solve the puzzles in his head. In other words, she doesn't know how to help him. She's tried different things and is starting to feel responsible for him.
Well, I will say this to Islanders. Taylor was doing the right thing in reaching out to him. Sometimes the sound of another human's voice who cares can make a huge difference because people in this state that this young man was in tend to get balled up in their own thoughts, and they think there is no help or no hope, and sometimes just somebody reaching out can make a difference. It seems like in this next set of lines, things are getting worse. He's up at 5 a.m., wasted, long gone, not even listening. My voice comes out screaming.
She's really getting desperate to help him now. When she gets in touch with him and finds him wasted, I take that to mean he's either on drugs or alcohol. Sometimes people will attempt to cover their pain with those things, to just do anything to take away the pain. So they turn to drugs and alcohol or something like that. Make it go away. Make it go away. She's desperate to reach him, but he is surrounded by pain.
And then she goes on to say, I'd be the summer sun for you forever winter if you go. She's repeating part of the chorus.
The chorus of the song, so she does repeat that. And she's explaining how she would feel if he hurt himself.
She goes on in the next set of lines to sort of explain some of that. If I was standing there in your apartment, I'd take the bomb in your head and disarm it. I'd say, I love you even at your darkest, and please don't go.
This is a word picture, and it really needs no explanation. She's desperate to help him. Too young to know it gets better. As you get older and become more rational, and I'm not saying if you're young you're not rational, but you just have a different mindset as you age. I think she grieved that he never got past that. He was just too young to leave. And just know if you're having any problems with depression, it's going to get better.
It's
really going to get better. So hang in there.
Well, and then she says, I didn't know you were breaking down. I'd fall to pieces on the floor if you weren't around. Too young to know it gets better. She repeats that again. I'd be the summer sun for you forever winter if you go. When she says, I didn't know you were breaking down, it's almost like, I guess she wrote this in past tense. And the last two lines I'm going to let you read, and I think they're just so sad.
He says he doesn't believe anything much he hears these days. I say, believe in one thing. I won't go away. She really was attempting to be his sunshine. Reminds me of that old song, You Are My Sunshine. Right. And she was trying to shine the light into the dark corners of his moods, bring him out of it.
Islanders, sometimes when people are in this situation, it not only can be they're also thinking about suicide, but it also can be a cry for help. And that's why it is so important to reach out. You don't have to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist. You just have to be a friend. And you don't have to know what to say. You just listen.
Yes.
You just listen. And if you say nothing else, then I care for you.
I do have some final thoughts. Depression and anxiety can make you feel like life is not worth living, taking you to a dark place where you just want to end your life, to be free from the pain. Don't do it. Reach out for help. Tell someone there is hope and light at the end of your dark tunnel. You are not alone. Suicide does not end the pain. It only transfers it to the ones who love you and are left behind.
Well, we are Christians. Gaga and I are Christians. There's many great religions in the world, but we're Christians. And in the Bible, there is a scripture from the prophet Jeremiah. Jeremiah 29:11. And he is saying, I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. And young people, that applies to you whether you know the Bible or not. There is a God that loves you and has a plan to help you and not to harm you.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so you have heard the song Forever Winter. So from 1 to 5 stars, 5 being the best, what would you give this song?
I would have to give it a 5 because Taylor is addressing a problem here. It may have occurred when she was in high school, but it is so much in the news today. And she is addressing a problem here head on and giving us and other people a chance to talk about it and bring it up for, especially for young people. I give it a 5.
I agree. I give it a 5 also, and for pretty much the same reasons.
Islanders, please comment. Tell us where you're from. I know it sounds stupid, but never skip the ads. That's what keeps us on the air. And make sure to like it and subscribe.
When you subscribe, if you'll leave a message in the comments saying, I am an Islander now, I will personally respond to you.
Well, that's great. See you all next time. It's nice to know
So many nice people.
Bye.
Bye.